I've been in real estate long enough to see trends come and go. Granite countertops, open concepts, dark kitchens, then white kitchens, and now we're swinging back to warm woods again. But every once in a while, something shows up that isn't just a trend. Something that completely rearranges how I look at homes themselves. That happened to me the day I sat down with a builder who'd been at it for 30 years. A guy who had framed more homes than I've probably walked through in my entire career. And he told me, with a straight face, that steel-framed homes could be built for 10% less than wood, and in some cases, closer to 30%. I laughed at first. I really did. Steel? Cheaper than wood? I pictured giant I-beams, commercial buildings, industrial warehouses. Not the cute suburban homes I showed to clients on the weekends. But he told me to sit down, forget what I thought I knew, and let him walk me through the actual numbers. And that's when everything changed. I want to walk you through the same conversation I had. Because whether you're building, buying, renovating, or you're just someone who likes staying ahead of the curve in real estate, this is something you're going to want to understand. Not only because it saves money, but because it's about to disrupt the construction world on a scale we haven't seen in decades. So picture this. You've got a 3,000 square foot home, just a straightforward, single-family home. Nothing crazy or custom. You go the traditional wood framing route. You call up your lumber supply house. You get your quote. You hire your framers. And within a few weeks, the skeleton of your new home is standing. You're happy, the builder's happy, and everything feels normal. But here's what builders don't tell you. That framing bill isn't the real number you end up paying. Not even close. Because lumber warps, it bends, pieces show up split, pieces get rained on, pieces get stepped on. And every time something breaks or doesn't fit right, it goes straight into the dumpster. And the dumpster, well, that's another bill. And another one. And another one. A typical home goes through for full swaps. And every swap costs hundreds of dollars. When I heard that, I had this mental image of builders tossing money directly into those dumpsters. Because that's literally what's happening. You pay for the material. Then you pay someone to haul the material away. And then you pay insurance on the time it took because your project is running longer than it has to. Now compare that to steel. And I'm not talking about going to Home Depot and picking up steel studs. I'm talking about a system that literally prints the framing for your home. Machines punch every hole, every connector, every channel, exactly where it needs to go. Walls, studs, trusses, joists, all of it. And the crazy part? They print it in a day. Not a month. Not a week, a day. Then it gets pre-assembled into panels that arrive on site like some giant Lego set. The crew doesn't need saws, doesn't need extra wood for blocking, doesn't need to drill out holes for plumbing or electrical. Everything is already where it needs to be. And here's the part that stunned me. Because the machines do so much of the work, your labor cost gets chopped right down the middle. On that same 3,000 square foot home, where it would cost you $30,000 in framing labor, steel comes in at $15,000. And that's before we even get into the waste factor. Steel has none.0. The framing arrives ready, perfectly measured, perfectly punched, perfectly cut. There's no pile of twisted, waterlogged lumber in the corner. No splintered studs. No warped headers. And definitely no expensive dumpsters being swapped out like it's a subscription service. When the builder showed me the side-by-side numbers, wood versus steel, I saw a $22,000 difference just in labor and waste, before we even touched the rest of the build. But the part that really grabbed me as a real estate agent wasn't just the savings. It was the speed. Because I've had clients lose money, lose patience, and lose their sanity waiting for homes that dragged on for months longer than they should have. When a steel-framed home shows up mostly pre-built, and it takes only a couple of days to stand it up, the whole project accelerates. Windows go in faster, doors get installed quicker, and the house becomes weathertight before the next rainstorm even has time to roll in. And when your home is weathertight faster, your financing costs, your interest, your construction timeline, all of it shrinks. Builders don't talk about this much, but every week they save is money they keep. And builders aren't the type to leave money on the table. But even with all of that, the part that hit me hardest was something completely different. Something I see every time I tour older homes. Callbacks. You know what I'm talking about. The cracking drywall, the doors that drag on the floor, the trim that separates because the wood behind it moved. Houses breathe. They shift. They settle. Wood expands. Wood contracts. Wood twists. And all of that shows up later in little annoying ways that frustrate homeowners and force builders to come fix things for free. With steel, the house stays put. There's no shifting, no warping, no seasonal movement that leaves your home looking like it aged 10 years in the first 12 months. That alone saves builders thousands and saves homeowners a whole lot of headache. And then we get to fire. Let me tell you a story. One of my clients, her daughter was driving home when she saw a massive blaze at a new construction site. The whole framing phase was gone, just ash and smoke. And all I could think about was how many millions of dollars were tied up in wood. That went up like kindling. Steel doesn't do that. Steel doesn't ignite. Steel gives firefighters time to show up and actually save the structure. Insurance companies know this too, which is why homeowners get a break on their premiums for the entire life of the home. 30 to 40% less every single year. At this point in the conversation with the builder, I was already convinced. And then he showed me the final number. On that 3,000 square foot home, the savings added up to just over $40,000 by the time the home was finished. Not hypothetical savings. Not in the right conditions savings. Actual, baked-in, unavoidable savings that come directly from the steel system being faster, cleaner, and more accurate. And you know what? I walked away from that conversation realizing something pretty big. We're not just comparing wood vs. steel. We're looking at the future vs. the past. Wood will always have a place. It's familiar, it's accessible, and it's what most crews are trained on. But steel, the way it's being printed, customized, and assembled now, that's where the industry is heading. And as someone who sells homes for a living, I can tell you, strong, efficient, low-maintenance homes are exactly what buyers are begging for. Imagine offering a house that's stronger than wood, straighter than wood, immune to warping, faster to build, insurable for less, and cheaper in the long run. Imagine telling your clients that their house won't crack, twist, or shift as the seasons change. Imagine telling them they were not going to get slammed with expensive drywall repairs or door adjustments 6 months after moving in. That's the kind of home I want to sell, and that's why I'm paying very close attention to steel framing. Because the more I learn, the more I realize that this isn't a gimmick. This isn't a fad. This is a technological leap. And it's coming fast. If you're a builder watching this, I get it. Switching systems feels like stepping off a cliff. But the builders who make the switch early are the ones who are going to dominate the market. And if you're a homeowner, or someone planning to build, or even someone who just likes knowing what's new in real estate, keep your eyes on steel. It's going to redefine the industry. And if you want to look at your own plans, or you want to see the price difference for your own build, or you just want to learn more about how the whole system works, check out the link below. But trust me, this is one shift you don't want to miss. Because the future of home building isn't just cheaper. It's smarter, it's stronger, and it looks a whole lot like steel.